I normally don't make videos this close to a game being released. I have never received a review copy of a game from any company, though one person has offered to let me play their RPG Maker game for free. Kind of humbling, not gonna lie. But I felt something in my first hours of playing Pokemon Legends ZA, but first I need to admit something. As I'm writing this, it's 8 PM on the 16th of October, the day this game came out. I'm not under any pretense that it's not going to get better or that it's going to come crashing down. I'm entering this game mostly blind. So things that aren't Mega Hawlucha, Mega Victory Bell, or Mega Malamar, and I'm only not mad about one of them. Whatever I put on screen right now is relevant.
And it's getting closer together. It's a storm.
Consider this a very, very light spoiler warning on Legends ZA, and I mean light like maybe 2.5 hours of the game light, but it's a fair warning nonetheless. I think that Pokemon X and Y were unfinished at best, and that makes me really sad to say, because I can say that I liked those games. I wouldn't ever put them near the top of the tier list when it comes to Pokemon games, but I think they're fine. They introduced Mega Evolution, which is one of the coolest mechanics in the whole series, and probably my favorite. I don't think they used it to its fullest extent in the few games it featured in. Mega Evolution is seemingly given at random to random Pokemon with next to no rhyme or reason. Tell me why it took until 2025 to reveal that the Generation 6 starters would get Mega Evolutions, but they wouldn't be available normally. Every gimmick following Mega Evolution gave special attention to the starters, except in Scarlet and Violet, where only 2 Pokemon got special Terrestrial forms, which, honestly, I can only excuse one of them. But X and Y did a lot of things right. It tried to do so much, but it fell flat, and some of that falling flat didn't transfer to other games where they had opportunities to do cool shit. The main thing I want to talk about relates to Mega Evolution and character design, which might sound weird since I'm no TB Skyen, but walk with me. In Pokemon X and Y, the player character receives a bracelet after the 3rd gym that's embedded with the Keystone, the thing that makes Mega Evolution work on the human side of things. Through the following battle with Korrina, the 3rd gym leader who is important to Mega Evolution as an heir to its teachings, we see that she also has a Keystone embedded in her glove. This shows you one important thing that carries Mega Evolution users across the entire series, including the anime because I haven't read manga adaptations. Keystones and their accessories are important to the user and are expressions of their capabilities or personalities, or just them in general. The players in X, Y, and Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, they have very basic offerings. They both essentially have bracelets, only called a bracelet in the Gen 3 remakes, but they're very utilitarian. The player often is utilitarian, but I wish that we got variants we could choose from with different animations for activating them. Other characters obviously gain Keystone accessories that emphasize what they're all about. How they're shown off is a different story, because they're not at all. In Lysander's 3rd fight, he gains a Mega Ring embedded on a band on his finger, but you never see him activate it to Mega Evolve his Gyarados. Being on his finger rather than the back of his hand, it portrays a level of pragmatism that he envisions he has in his desire to kill everyone in the Kalos region for his misguided beautification project. Korrina's is on the back of her hand, where she can see it at all times. It's easy for her to show the back of her hand to essentially, well, show it off in times of need. She's an authority figure on it, she needs to express it, but there's also a fist metaphor that's on offer here since she's the fighting type gym leader after all. Diantha has an amulet that acts as the accessory tying the whole outfit together for her. In the anime, Gardevoir has a similar amulet holding Gardevoirite, but there's more here. Diantha's is practical. Having it be on a necklace means that it's less likely she'll forget about it. It's basically always at the ready. It might symbolize how close her bond is, since it's an amulet, an heirloom even, one that she'd pass down to someone who she felt also had a strong bond. There's a slight problem though. Korrina and Diantha only get 2D art, while Lysander in every incarnation gets a 3D model intro. That really sucks, but what's worse is that only the player gets an animation of them activating Mega Evolution. At all. Lysander doesn't get one, his Mega Evolution just happens the same way it does for Diantha after him and Korrina before him. You have to wonder if this was because stuff was left on the cutting room floor to ship it out before it was ready, and as much as I'd love to handwave quality off like that, it's been over 10 years since those games released. I don't have to be nice. It's a damn shame that we don't see how they use their stones in the games, because it'd be really cool. It's also a damn shame that we don't see Maxie, Archie, Wally, Steven, or Zinnia use their Mega items at all either. I think it's criminal that something as important to a trainer's fashion and personal battling style would go unseen by the player, especially in games so focused on their characters at that point. I don't think there's any excuse for it, and that's even with me being nice to the games. So color me surprised when I load up Legends ZA for the first time, and I see that so many characters just have keystones in their designs. I had already noticed a lot of things when it came to this game. The motion capture is genuinely top-notch, the very subtle squash and stretch, the expressions, the everything, even Emma's... Don't look at me like that. But this is like Chekhov's gun in terms of character design. You come into the series having played X and Y, which is statistically like at least 70% of the people playing this game, and you see a keystone, you know it means that that character is going to be shown to use Mega Evolution at some point. How it gets used? You're likely just going to see the Mega Ball happen. But then, you finish doing something for Emma, and this happens.
Ah! Wow! Gah! So fluffy. Amp. Mega Evolution surpasses the limits of evolution to power up Pokemon even further.
That right there was a person in the games touching their Megastone to activate Mega Evolution. I have no vested attachment to Emma. I didn't play the post-game for X and Y, but I do understand why it's important for her to be here, why she runs the Looker Bureau in this game, why she's a detective, her aesthetic, and the esper she has that sits around the office like a bodega cat.
It takes a pet, like no problem.
Yeah.
Right? Not afraid at all. That's a great cat right there.
As a person that's played all 3 games that feature Mega Evolution, does Ultra Sun and Moon count? Did they do anything? But as a person that's played all 3 games that feature Mega Evolution, I can for damn sure tell you what seeing all these keystones on characters and seeing someone actually touch their keystone means. It means that the people at Game Freak, whether by sheer desire to improve their games or just coincidence, knew that it was important to show that X and Y had so much more on the table, and that it's better late than never to show off what those things could be. I'm not ready to make a judgment call on this game yet. There's inexcusable things here, like the absolute lack of any kind of voice acting, which, to say the least, actually sucks. But there's little details that mean a whole lot to me personally, and I think would mean a lot to others too. A random NPC mentions that she got the autograph of Grace, who was a popular Rhyhorn racer. Who's Grace? Oh, no big deal, just the player character's mom from X and Y. Right before you see Emma do the Mega Evolution thing, you're introduced, in a bit of a forced way, to Alpha Pokemon. But it's mentioned that it was a phenomenon in a region not like your own, which pays lip service to the Legends Arceus players, of which I'm not one of them. I lost my copy, to be fair, which sucks, but what can you do? I think it's been important to show off just how willing these guys are going to make the central conceit of X and Y not only the main focus this time around, but important, navigable, colorful even. Catching Pokemon feels fantastic, way better than it did in what little of Legends Arceus I played. Battles are a whole other thing I'll get into if and or when I make a second video on this game. I mean that in a good way, I hope you understand. It's little details in Pokemon games that make people fall in love with them, just as much as it is grand sweeping gestures that define how a Pokemon game is structured. The little moments when you stop and learn about a character's motivations, or even just witness them use a new team mere hours after you saw their last one, or even little details like Sonya twirling her hair in Sword and Shield. I find those to be just as important to Pokemon as anything else. It's why I even decided to make a video about Emma touching her keystone in the first place, and I could even go further to talk about what it means. I might. But that's all the time I have for today. If you liked what you saw, please hit that subscribe button. I'd really love to hit 3,000 by the end of the year. To those of you here for Victory Road, I promise I'll get back to it soon, but the next games are a bit daunting for me to handle all by myself, and I'd like to recruit some help for it if I can. If I can't, well, don't expect a video in November. Maybe December though. Believe me, I'm going to dedicate a lot more time to this game and hopefully a potential follow-up. I have a lot I want to talk about, and I want you there on the other side. Be nice in the fucking comments. If I see a single one of you talking down about other people or Nintoddler or some shit, I'm kicking your ass personally. With all of that said, my name is Sonata. Thank you for watching.